So in week 6, we are turning to our next writing project, like I said, and this looks like a really long list of things to do, but most of it is just support and references and handouts and guides. And so we've got the overview. Our final project is going to be a research essay expository, a surprising expository essay. Let me just read it because that's a requirement for this class. Expository simply means informational. And so we are going to be working on an informational essay. We're going to be working on how to develop research questions, which is how research starts. It doesn't start with a thesis, it starts with the question. The answer to that question is going to be the thesis. Right here, I have so many guides on how to do research. And also we've got the activities here. I'm going to walk through these really quickly, starting with the overview of our final writing project. I'm not going to get too into it right here because I already have a video explanation posted. Read over this. It's going to be an expository essay, a formal essay written to an academic audience where you pick a common topic, a topic you're interested in, nothing too outlandish, just something interesting, and look for, so the goal is to look for something that's new or interesting or surprising. So when I say surprising, I don't mean fireworks in Disneyland change everybody's life surprising. I just mean something interesting. And for this research project, we're going to be doing research where you're going to find 4 credible sources, and at least 2 of these sources need to come from the library and 1 needs to be a reference. I'm just pointing that out because that will help me walk through the rest of the week's information. And after we do that research, we're going to start writing. Okay, how do we bring all of that information together? How do we write an essay? We will talk about how to write introductions. The body will be a synthesis of information, and the conclusion. So read that over, watch the video, because you know I'm going to ask you to annotate. Okay, so we're still in the informational content, and the next is a page all about the research question and the importance of the research question. Please watch that. I am going to ask you to submit a research question so I know you're headed in the right direction. And so here, if you go back out to the module, this is in a little section. Well, I'm going to go back out to the module so I can show you. Let me go all the way back down here to week 6. So right here, I've added some research tips on how to use the library, how to find good sources. There's a lot more handouts and tips and guides. If you click right here, it will take you to our module, our research module, which is at the bottom of this page. It has a lot more, but I've gathered some of the ones that I thought would be the most helpful for you for this project right here. So you do need to have 2 sources from the library. All of your sources can come from the library, but they don't have to. You can find some good credible sources online. However, you need to sift through a lot of junk to find it. A lot of just junk, like I said, but also a lot of just short bullet point, cut and paste internet pages that will not help you at all in writing a research essay, and they are not credible enough to really support you, because your credibility as a writer, your credibility as an author and a researcher is built on and is going to be bolstered by the credibility of the sources that you bring in, that you find your information about your topic in. And so I'll walk through these really quickly. Here, this is a video about finding sources online. It's something that I just did. I think I did this for a 102 class, but it's still applicable here. This is some good links and some sites to get research help and set up appointments with the library and librarian. Here's some information on what databases are when you use the virtual library, or a lot of the content is organized in databases. This explains what that means. This is going to be an important one because you need to find a reference source, okay? And reference sources are simply sources that include information. Think encyclopedias and dictionaries. And Gale ebook It's a database, it's a collection of sources, and they're all reference sources. So it's a collection of all these different types of encyclopedias, and they're all specifically focused on different topics. That's going to be probably your best bet in finding your reference sources. And then again, here's those other research tips in the module. And here we get to the activities. We're going to have 3 activities, and they're pretty basic, pretty short to help you, give you time and some breathing room to get up and going here. So I'm going to open this. I need to get this in student view. I'm sorry. Let me figure out what's going on. Okay, here we go. I had a little glitch. So I'm just going to ask you to read over the overview, the instructions for our writing project 3, and it's a little bit longer because I go into each section of the essay and annotate. Okay, I'm going to ask you to highlight at least 4 points that you find interesting or things that you want to remember, add a few marginal notes, and at least 1 question at the end that I can answer for you. And then make sure that you remember to go back and actually read my answers that I'll leave in the comments box. Okay? The next thing that we are going to do, yes, I want to leave this site. Goodness, hold on. Goodness, this is giving me some problems. There we go. All right. So next I'm going to ask you for that topic proposal and research question. So make sure you go back. This is a link that goes back to that information on how to form research questions. And I'm just asking you for a really quick research question and explanation on why you chose that question. And then finally, in this section, we're just going to have an MLA citations quiz because we need to review this. And that's it for this week. Let me know if you have any questions, and have a great week.